Okay, I'm not sure how much battery I have here. This is, my God, it's not even West Ave, it's Bay Road and the Dade Canal. You can see that's my point, that little low point right there. So the water's almost up to it. This is high tide, literally within 5 minutes, but it's only a 2.6 high tide according to the chart, and it's been several days since Matthew. I was here last night at 1 a.m. during that high tide, and the water was also up to there. I was also here very close to a low tide, and the water was supposed to be down, a couple feet, and it was actually a -1 tide almost, or well, it was only slightly negative. Still, it should have been several feet down, but it wasn't. And going by that, the king tide next week, the 3.9 foot MLLW tide, if it's going to be more than a foot higher than this, it is going to be big time flooding. I don't know what the pumps are supposed to do. I know this is the canal, and this is, this is not where it gets pumped out of. This is where it gets pumped into. This is the bay/canal. I mean, you can see the mitigation they've done here. You can see that that right there. I took a picture of it. Probably won't focus. That's a sewer drain that's been it's got this big rubber thing and a pipe thing, and then it's just plugged. It's like a cap they put on this. This is just a drain that goes straight over to there. Just a very basic drain. And you can see that it's submerged during a normal high tide. It's been several days since Matthew. I cannot believe the tide has been changing. It's not like it's just the water stuck up because of the hurricane. It's been days since then. But through tides, it's been going up and down, but generally above where it looks like it should be. I've been here one year that was supposed to be a 3-point-something tide, 3.5, not quite king tide, but up there, a spring tide, and that's about where it got to then, and that was definitely in the 3s. I'm not sure how those tides for fishing charts really work. I've gone to other websites too, try to get more direct answers, but from what I can tell, the water is just generally very high. You see it on the Star Island Bridge. You can just see that it's above this sewer thing easily, and this is not a spring tide. Even though it's a week from the high tide, this is actually an average high tide. It's not like it's just because the week before it's super high. It's gonna get a lot higher through the week. But just because it's a week away, it's actually not an exceptional hot tide today or yesterday. It's not supposed to be. It's only like 2.6 out of 3.9 is the maximum. And I don't even know if the MLLW is something that changes every year when the sea goes up. I've heard that there's been an inch of local tide gauge average sea level rise here per year. Something about the University of Miami did that. I don't know if that was a real tide gauge. I don't know what to say. Don't know how long my battery's gonna last. I don't know if this low light makes it better or worse taking a stupid video. But this is pretty significant how high the water's been here for several days. I came down for Matthew, but it's so close to the king tide, which I was planning on coming down for. It's a week away, but it looks like it's going to be a good show. It looks like it's going to be worth it. Looking how high the water is now, and this is 15 inches lower, 15 inches lower than what it's supposed to be during the king tide next week, which is a 3.9 according to the thing, and it could be higher. Judging by, look at their salt water right there. You can't see it, it's too dark. Salt water is getting through this thing. This is a stupid tide wall that's been built on top of that one. You can see the concrete just roughly meets there. This is salt water right here already. There's probably salt water coming up through the drains there. They haven't raised a lot of roads and put in a lot of pumps yet. I mean, the ones they did in 2014 seem to be the same now. There's something about 80 pumps or whatever. I don't see that happening. I see the original pumps that went in. They're not doing any more. I see construction here, but I don't see a lot of the road raising. That was a couple of years ago, and it doesn't seem like they're still doing that very actively anymore. I don't really know. But yeah, this is going to be a show, this king tide, I think. I've been disappointed by a couple. I missed a couple, and I've been disappointed, I think, by ones that didn't really, they stayed dry, I think, in 2014. 2015 was pretty big flooding in Fort Lauderdale, here in Miami Beach, and a couple other places. I know a couple places in Miami where the nominal elevation is 0 feet, not even 3 feet, and the only other places like that are here, maybe in Fort Lauderdale, I don't know where, I tried to look, and a couple places in Miami I know that are 0 feet AMSL. Nominal, and that's because it's 3 meters and it's rounded to the nearest meter, so they're probably 1.5 or less feet. Anyway, this is one of them, and it looks like it's gonna flood here next week, and even throughout this week for sure. This next week, all the way up to the king tide, I do think it's gonna be flooding all this week.